And we are live. All right, we're going to jump right into it because today is the Make It Make Sense live discussion, but it all starts on Tuesdays where we release what our discussion questions are, which gives you a great clue about what we're going to discuss on Wednesday. So let's go to these discussion questions, okay? So I asked three things. I asked, do you think your website is currently helping you convert or just helping you look established? That was the first question. The second question, is your website built around your brand story or your client's buying journey? And then last, if a stranger landed on your website for 15 seconds, would they immediately know what to do next? Are y'all seeing the picture, right? So those are the three questions. I asked them on yesterday, which was Talk About It Tuesday. And we did have a little discussion going in the comments. Alona Washington, what's up, Alona? She said, before I switched platforms, it was helping convert. I didn't realize it till folks booked calls and told me they found or perused my website. Okay, so I don't know what platform she switched to, but the discussion was around doing an intake process or her discovery calls to make sure she's asking everybody how they found the website or how they found how they booked the call, right? So before she switched platforms, and I'm assuming she's talking about website platforms, all right? It used to convert for her because people were making the calls. Now, I'm going to give you guys a little context for myself because I'm actually about to upgrade my website because I got some things going on that could be better. So before we go to Shawana Kennedy Media for her to answer the questions, I'm going to give you some answers of my own because it's just me and Shawana this morning. So I don't want to put all the burden on her. Okay. So first question, do you think your website is currently helping you convert or just helping you look established? So my website in particular, shaycannon.com, I know it helps me to look established and it converts some, but I think it can convert more, which is why I brought this topic up for this week, because I felt like if I could better mine and I knew the strategies, I knew that this would be a great topic for you guys, right? So is your website built around your brand story or your client's buying journey? Huh. I'm gonna tell you, it's built a little around both. It's built about that freedom that is my brand story and operations, but it needs to lean heavier on the operations, and it's not necessarily taking them through a client's buying journey the way that it is today. Right. So when I first did this website design a couple of years ago, how I did it followed a client journey that my ideal client was going through. Right. So it answered the questions of how do I grow my business if I don't have any money and any time? How do I grow it if I have a little money and a little time? How do I grow it if I have more time than money? And then it answered the question of how do I grow it if I have more money and less time and I want you to do it, right? So that was a client journey. And so it was great. But my client journey is different these days. And so I need to kind of highlight a different journey. Last but not least, if a stranger landed on your website for 15 seconds, would they immediately know what to do next? No. Okay. Because there is a pop-up that takes them to a lead magnet, but I feel like that lead magnet isn't converting as high as it could. So if they were to click off that lead magnet, there's no clear direction of what they need to do next to work with me. Okay. So I answered those questions. And so I gave you a little time, Ms. Shawana Kennedy Media. What are your answers to today's discussion questions?
Good morning, good morning, good morning to you, and you. Let's see. When I
And
look at question number one, do I think my website is currently helping me convert or just me look established? Okay. As of today, I will say it is definitely helping me to the company to look established because of the things that we have currently done. The site communicates credibility, experience, definitely professionalism, and it shows trust. You can clearly see how Kennedy Media is a real business with a real, track record services testimonials and all of the things that can show the years of experience.
Mhm.
Um, what I believe that it could do a little bit better is potentially show more urgency so
Yeah.
that, because I want the viewers, I want people that glance on there to be able to quickly self-identify and feel that sense of urgency. So that's one of the things that we could definitely probably tweak, is making sure that it has a clear picture of urgency, because I want them to be able to pause and say, wait, is are they talking to me? They see that I'm definitely an expert, but I really do realize that I'm doing more of the heavy lifting as it pertains to the production side, as far as their, online visibility with live stream and pre-recorded things like that. So yeah, because we want them to be able to see and feel that they're not just buying not buying a service, but that they are buying relief, they're buying transformation, they're buying an outcome. So I think, did that answer that question?
It did, definitely.
Okay, and next question:
Mm-hmm.
is my website built around my brand story or my client buying journey?
Mm-hmm.
Well, again, today, because I have done some recent work, we've had
Mm-hmm.
some recent work done over there. I would say it's about 60-40. When I think about now, it is definitely focused on 60% being the client journey and
Mm-hmm.
40% being Kennedy Media. And we can, do some more work on that side. The homepage does it do a good job of speaking to the coaches, consultants, and speakers, nonprofits, the people that we service. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
what I think is that it could be more where we do a little bit more tweaking so that people quickly recognize visibility. They need to be able to see that, like I said before, I want people to quickly be able to identify. So by
Mm-hmm.
doing that, it's why visibility, they need to know why visibility feels so hard, why they
Yeah.
because they're
Yeah.
exhausted, because they could be
Mm-hmm.
exhausted, why their content isn't converting, and why they keep trying to start over when maybe they just really need some more support. So,
I
um,
love that. Love that.
let me see. If a stranger landed on my website for 15 seconds, would they immediately know what to do next? Yes. Uh, Always, there's always, you will hear me say there's always things we could do, because certain things are fluid. But
Mm-hmm.
right now, I believe what you call it in the fold, where the direction to schedule the call, take the
Mm-hmm.
visibility assessment. Even if you're not ready for
Yes.
all of those things, you're invited to join the community, and you're even invited to hear some of the conversations by listening to the podcast. Um, so yeah, I think that's it. Oh, and of course, right now, one of the main things that we are promoting is being okay to take that 2-minute assessment, taking the
Yes.
production readiness assessment. So yeah,
Okay. So you giving what does the assessment help them to assess?
really, where you can get a quick glance of, am I really doing these things, and not realizing what it's costing me.
I love that.
Hmm.
What's the link to that? Because I'm interested, so I know everybody else must be interested.
Ooh, I'll drop it here in the chat, and we'll make sure it's over there
All
on
right.
YouTube too.
Please drop it in the chat now. Grab that and throw it on YouTube for you
Oh
guys
yes,
so
I
you can
love
take your
that. Let's do that
assessment
now.
about
Thank
your
you.
visibility. Okay. I do want to share my screen really quickly before we get into our full discussion. Because so this is my website when you first go on. Now it's not on the homepage, it's on the basically the work with me services page, right? But I call it transform your business. But I wanted to show you guys the pop-up, which is a lead magnet. So this pop-up is telling you to sign up for it. So there's a clear call to action. But what I know is that this particular training is no longer as popular as it was. So now I need to tackling something different with a lead magnet. So I just want to show y'all that pop-up. But I want to give y'all the example of how I took them through the client journey, the client buying journey. Now, this client buying journey is no longer as relevant to my particular clients, but I still want to show you this example because it is still a great example of taking someone through the buying journey, right? So I tell them the problem you are experiencing is, right? So I explain to them what they're experiencing, a little bit about who I am. And then I say, how can you work with me? Learn by clicking this square describing the best fit for you. So I do not have any money to invest right now, but I badly need support for my business. And they click this and they get some free options, which includes our community. It includes the lead magnet and some other free resources, right? It even invited them to what used to be the morning show. So then the next one was, I have very little money to invest right now, but I need support for my business. This takes them to some very DIY low price options, some digital products and that type of thing, right? I have more time than money. All right. So this one I think takes them to some workshops and things like that. So I have some time and some money. I think this one takes them to the course on how they can build their own blueprint roadmap for business growth. This one, I have some time and more money, takes them to where I can build a roadmap for them. And the last one, I'm not spending my time and I got money, you do it, takes them to my fractional COO services. So it takes them through a journey. And then I even map it out on how that looks. I have no money, right? I have a little money. I got more time. I got sometimes some money. I got sometime more money, and I'm not spending my time. I got money, you do it. So it's showing them, hey, your investment gets higher and higher, right? And so this is showing a client journey. And I want to share that with you guys. Even though I haven't updated mine, this is an excellent example of a client journey. If you want to see it, it's at shaycannon.com/offers, OFFERS. But I would say go see it as soon as possible because I am about to upgrade this website. So if you want to see that, you can either watch this replay because that's why I wanted to take you through it, or you can go to the website while it's there now. So Shawana has dropped the link to this video production assessment. I know you guys want it, so let me drop that in YouTube for you. Boom, there you go. That'll be something great for you guys. All right. All right, let's get to the value, okay? Because at the end of the day, how we look at our websites has evolved and it's changed, right? It used to be that the website was like a digital business card, right? It's gone so far beyond that. It even goes beyond what it used to be the job of each page to do. Okay, and I want to take a moment to tell you what the job used to be. Okay, your homepage, the job used to be to instantly and clearly communicate your offer and why a potential client should choose you. Your about page used to have one job, which was to humanize your brand and show people or the person or the people behind the services to be rendered, right? And then the expert page used to have the one job of, well, everybody doesn't have an expert page, but if you are a speaker, if you are wanting to speak or do media, this would be your expert page, okay? And so really what it's talking about is, what do you have to say to add to the industry conversation for your ideal client? So that's the one job. Like, what does anybody that needs a speaker or anybody that needs media and your expertise, what can you bring to the table to service your ideal client within their audience? That was the one job of your expert page. Last but not least was the service page. And the one job of your service page used to be to clearly and persuasively articulate the value of your service. Okay, so you want to take them from interest into action. So each page had like this one little job, but each page had a different job. Now, let's get into it because I think we're about ready, right? So websites for discovery to conversion transformation. That's what it's supposed to do. Take someone from discovery to conversion for the transformation that they're looking for. But there is a transformation going on in that journey. So a website has evolved to be more than a calling card or a business card. Each page has a job in achieving the ultimate goal. So no longer different goals. Now we have an ultimate goal, which is build trust and move to conversion. Each page to build trust and move them to conversion. So it's not just about the brand, it's about what can the brand do for the person perusing your website in ways that are resolute to them ending up as a qualified buyer of your services. Okay. So I want to get into it because now it becomes a question of how do we take somebody on a buying journey on each page? Because that takes a little skill, right? So how do you take somebody on a buying journey on each page? Well, we're going to go to the next level. Y'all know in the morning show, we used to talk about, what you need to have on each page to do this little one job that each page had that was different than the last page. Now we have a new goal. So taking them from introduction to immediate buyer orientation. Okay, that's what we want. We want all of our pages to do that because at the end of the day, some of the strongest things your website could feel on each page are these things. So listen up. Emotionally clear, because people buy with emotion, right? So be clear on what emotion they should be buying from. Each page should be easy to navigate. Each page should be psychologically reassuring. Each page strategically persuasive. Okay. Now we've talked about sales objections and going ahead and all the objections that that people have or have presented to you. We need to be solving those. Now we need to be solving those in some way on each page. And that's what's meant by strategic persuasiveness. Okay. Each page needs to be trust building. We need to be building trust on each page. Each page needs to be identity confirming. Last week, we talked about identities, right? Your ideal client has an identity that they're currently at, right? And then they have an identity that they want to reach for. Call out those identities, who and where they are right now, and who and where they want to be. We need to confirm that I know this is you right now, but let me also motivate you and inspire you to come here with us. Okay. So it's not overwhelming. It's just that we need to be doing all these things as they go down each page. All right. So immediate positioning for clarity. How do we do that? Well, within seconds. Okay. Anybody coming to your page should know who the page is for, what problem is solved, what transformation is offered, why this business is different or your offer is different, and what action to take next. Okay, that's what they should know. That's what we should be reinforcing. So above the scroll, which if you guys know, above the fold used to be what we talked about with newspapers, that part that when the newspaper was folded in half, that first part, if you were above that fold, that was hot stuff. That was the most trending, that was the most important information, right? Well, same thing with your website. Above the scroll, when someone lands on a web page, that part before they ever scroll down is called above the scroll. And that part definitely needs to have all of these things. Who is it for? What problem is solved? What transformation is offered? Why is your offer or your business different? Or you? Why are you different? And what action to take next? That one action to take next is what's so important. Okay. Now, if we need to have all of that on the page, definitely above the scroll, as we're going down the page, we're just reinforcing those same things. Now, how do you do that on an about page when it's not supposed to be about your service? Well, you can tell them the journey of how your brand got to having the mission that it has, the vision that it has, why you came up with this offer to serve better. You have ways that you can storytell around each of these elements that could be very relevant to the page that they are on. All you're doing is giving them the same information on every page in different ways, the lens of what that page is supposed to be focused on. Okay. I don't know if you've ever met people that no matter what you talk about, they find a way to make it about themselves. Right? You could tell them, you tell them a story about how you started a business. They want to tell you a story about how they started a business. They want it to be about them. Tell them a story about a loved one that gave you a hard time. They come back and tell you a story about how they had a loved one. They had a hard time, right? No matter what you talk about, they take it the spotlight off of you or whoever is talking and put it on them. That's what you should do on each page of your website. No matter what it's talking about, the spotlight should still be on the main offer. Okay, the main problem to be solved, the main transformation to be gotten. There's a different way to talk about it on each page. On your home page, we're just straight commercial. This is like a store window. On your about page, it's, hey, this is about me, but about me and why I have this offer, why I have it for you in particular, why the problem became so important to me, right? Then you go to the expert page. What are you talking about? What can the media and speaker people talk to? Well, I want to talk to these particular people. So you want to buy your offer, right? And I want to talk to them about these problems or these solutions, the same ones that have to do with your offer, right? So then you go to the service page. Now we're going into detail about each service that they can go to, mainly the main offer, the service, okay? Because again, your funnel, okay, not necessarily the web page, your funnel should be to introduce all these other offers, not that service page. The service page should be more about broadly what the problem is and the one main offer that puts them into the funnel. Okay? Cool beans. All right, the next transformation that you need to be very, very aware of, again, on your about page, you need to be going from just telling your story to taking them through the journey of gaining more trust. That's what your story should be doing. Gaining more trust as it's still taking them through who your offer is for, what the offer solves, and all the things that we've already listed, okay? So that's what your about page is doing. We're using story to tell these same elements. All right, let's go to the next transformation. On your expert page, this should be a showcase of your authority and your thought leadership, but wrapped around the elements of your offer. Wrapped around the elements of your offer. Because again, even though we're on an expert page and it's for media and it's for people who want you to speak, we can still talk about right here our frameworks, our philosophies, other media appearances, other speaking engagements, articles written by us, written about us, case studies, industry opinions, and things that we've talked about creating signature language before, but that signature language, this is a great place to put it because it's all around your offer. All right. So all together, we're reinforcing our authority while also reinforcing the offer. All right. Now, the service page. Stop thinking of it as just a description of the offer and start thinking of it as decision facilitation. Okay. You're not just giving details about the offer, you're helping them make a buying decision once and for all on the service page. All right. So, what are some of the elements that you should be doing on this page? Not to seem too salesy, but to get the job done. Well, you need to be answering a few questions. These are the questions. Will this work for me? Will this work for me? What happens next? Again, a lot of us are given a lot of information, and it's only until they get to the bottom of the page and they get some kind of call to action on what to do next. I'm going to tell you, don't be afraid to put a call to action, some type of button of different sizes, some type of hyperlink to go here on each section of each page. Okay, so what happens next? You should be answering the question, is this organized in a way that they will understand it? Where they will immediately understand what is the option for them. See, this is why you have a whole bunch of options on your service page. You should be able to help them to clarify where they are in the journey of where they want to go and which offer is especially for that. Okay, so take you back to how I said, if you got no money and you got no time, or if you got more money, no, all of that, they can pick who they are identifying and then get the offer that is best for them. So if you can't clarify how they can pick the best offer, you definitely should not have a bunch of offers. Okay, so one main offer would be a great thing. Psychology tells us that when you take all of those options back, because confusion has people to where they won't buy at all. What they'll tell themselves is, I'll come back to this, or I don't know what to pick. And that little book a call that you have, they won't always want to book that call because they don't quite know what to bring to light on the call. You've confused them. So confused buyers don't buy. and we don't want to confuse them. That's why you can definitely pick one offer, okay? You should be answering the question, is this worth the investment? You should be answering the question, what if I fail? Did you know that sometimes people can trust you, that you have the answer and you can solve the problem? They can trust that your offer will work, but they will doubt that it will work for them. So, what happens if I fail? These are some guarantees. This is where we have money guarantees, we have time guarantees, we have backup plan type guarantees. But what you're doing is you're mitigating risk. So they're saying, if this doesn't work, what kind of guarantee do I have about this investment that I've made? Okay. Next question you should be asking, can I trust this process? Next question, will this waste my time? Last but not least, am I a fit for it? Okay, am I a fit? You should be answering all of these questions on your service page. These are examples of tackling those sales objections before they bring them up. If you can reinforce somebody and how they're feeling before they have a chance to start feeling negatively, that's what we want. Okay, so this is what's going to make your strongest service page. Now, I'm going to tell you, we're going to go back through our transformations, which basically is our home page, our about page, our expert page, and our service page. Okay, our home page. This is about going from introduction to immediate buyer orientation. Okay, immediate buyer orientation. That means, I know you may be new to me, but let me tell you about me and how I can help you. I'm introducing myself and I'm immediately bringing you into an orientation about why you should be here, why you should pick me, and what I have to offer you. Okay. That was our homepage, right? And think of the homepage as like your storefront. It's the first thing that everybody sees. The next page is your about page. This is where your storytelling comes into play, but the story should be wrapped around getting them through the buyer's journey. Who is your offer for? What problem does it solve? What is the offer? And we're building trust through story, okay? So the about page seems like it should be about you. It's not about you, okay? It's about what can you do for them. So wrap your story around the journey in what can you do for them, all right? Next page is the authority page, or I'm sorry, the expert page. On some of your websites, that's the speaker media page. And this page's job is to go from just showcasing your authority and your thought leadership to wrapping that expertise around why you're the choice for the offer that you extend them. Okay. So this is where you show your unique selling propositions. What's unique about you? What's unique about the brand? How you stand in authority in the industry? How you help other people? The topics that you bring about, the conversations that you start, that type of thing. Okay. And all of that is very important. Now, your service page, you should take them from just basic details about your service to facilitating a buying decision. Okay. And this is where we want to do the most obstacle busting or objection busting, right? So your sales objections that you know you're going to get, which some of you, if you've been doing discovery calls, you know exactly what these people are saying. You know exactly what they're saying to not buy, right? We need to already, don't wait till somebody bring it up. Go ahead and say, hey, we've had people say before this, and that's why we have that. We understand that sometimes you have an obstacle of this, and that's why within our offer, we have added this, that, right? So you need to be helping them to make a buying decision. All right. Now, Miss Shawana Kennedy Media. I know you over there struggling trying to remember everything that I said, right? However, what I want you to do is think about the overall thoughts of each page, right? And how can you, I'm going to say your about page, how can you use your story to turn it into it being about them? You're using the uniqueness of your story, your vision, your mission to bring about and talk about the offer, talk about who exactly it's for and all of those things. Have you come up with a way in your head of not just making it about you and making it about them and taking them through a buyer journey, even on like the about page? Or do you want to pick another page? And you're on mute if you're
Oh,
talking to us.
Shay, that actually is good.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the one thing that I think about too, especially when having rich conversations with you, is that's why I said things you have to be okay to make the necessary adjustment.
Mm-hmm.
Not just for the listener, but even for me, because we have to be okay to remove excuses.
Mm-hmm.
Because sometimes when you hear something, you'll be like, oh, dang, I just fixed that. Dang, I just updated that. But
Yes.
then when you hear it put in a different perspective that definitely could fit you and your brand, your business, be okay to make that adjustment again, especially if it's going to accomplish the goal. So I just had to say that because that was part
Mm-hmm.
of when you're talking. Those are things that run through my mind.
Yes.
One of the things I possibly could do when I think about the about page is one of is in some form
Mm-hmm.
introducing a framework, one of the primary frameworks,
Yes.
because that's where my mind takes me, because that is
Mm-hmm.
also another introductory
Mm-hmm.
into some of the thought processes for our services. And in this
Yes.
case is clarify, capture, and circulate. And
Yes.
what that looks like for
Mm-hmm.
our ideal client. Because of course,
Mm-hmm.
it's not, I've always said that it's not that some of our clients cannot do the job themselves. However, they're trying to carry too much. So once you clarify that, we do the capturing and we help you to circulate, because it's about positioning too. And
Yes.
if you're so busy doing the things, you're not putting yourself in the best possible position for somebody to want your service, your talent, and use you for the thing that you're hoping and believe that you have the expertise to deliver.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one of the ways I could potentially do that better, is to introduce the framework on my about page.
I like that. Now what I will say is a better place to go into detail. Now you said introduce, that is correct. On your homepage, you introduce it. But the better place to go into detail is the service page, right? Because when you break down that framework and then show the service that corresponds, or the phases of the service that correspond, because you're just introducing it on the homepage, right?
Mm-hmm.
I will say the framework you want to go in detail on your homepage is the framework of transformation, right? The framework of transformation. And let me give you an example. I'm going to share my screen, because even though I'm going to update this, the one thing that I got right that is very prominent, the framework of transformation. Do you want more time? Do you want more freedom? Do you want more money?
Mm-hmm.
Right? And so then I got a little question on each. I love to ask the engaging questions to get you thinking a little deeper. Instead of me putting what you should be thinking about right there, I want you to ask something that's going to make you think about it, right? And then we got that old good call to action. But I love starting it off with the things you want most. What is the framework around the things they want most? And I love the number three. I feel like three is the number of completion for me, so I'm always going to put three. But you could put two. But we definitely need more than one, because we don't want them to miss it in the conversation we're trying to have, right? You definitely want to pull it out as elements in a framework of their greatest desire of transformation. So I would like for you to make that the above the scroll, and then as they go down, maybe you start to introduce the framework of how they get there, but just introduce it. So yeah, I like that for you. I like that for you. Look at that. We need to update that. And then the blog is down there. But yeah, starting off with that framework of transformation, I think hits harder on the homepage,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
because they
Mm-hmm.
need to know why they're there before you start explaining a process that they need to go through to get there. Because if you start with a process, they're gonna be like, what is this? I don't know. Because think about when you buy a solution, you have don't care about how they're gonna get you to the solution. You want them to talk about the dream. Everybody knows that if you want to lose weight, that's diet and exercise. I mean, unless you're gonna go and get a drug like Ozempic, or unless you're gonna have surgery, If you want to go all natural, it's diet and exercise every time. Every time. But nobody wants to hear you talk about diet and exercise to bring them into the fold of your offer. They want you to say things like, you can be high school skinny in 60 days. This time next month, you can have more energy, right? So those are the things that get us those hooks of the transformation. Don't be laughing, Shawana. You know it's real. You know it's real, right? So those are the things that get us. And then we know that when we get to the offer, it's going to be some type of exercise, some type of diet. So I think that on the high school skinny, yeah, come on now, that's a phrase we use that in the South. But they definitely get hooked by the transformation framework. And then when you get to the services, see now, even though it's exercise and it's diet, see on the services page, it's your job to show them how they can do it, how your offer makes it easier, how your offer maybe speeds up the timeline, that type of thing. But on their homepage, we need to start with that transformation. Does that make sense, Shawana?
For sure, because sometimes that's as far as they're going.
And if you don't hook them there, they're never going to make it to your service page. Like never. So cool. I love that. Did you want to discuss another page, or you feel like that was good enough?
No, it is. It takes me back. See, y'all, if y'all ever listen to me chat it up with Shay, she makes you have open like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 tabs while you're on here for 35, 45 minutes because it it makes you move, right? It gets you, well, if you're an executor, if you are an implementer, I'll say that for that because some people they listen and they nod, they smile and be like, "Oh, that's cute." But because I do believe in taking action and in a lot of cases, immediate action, because certain things you don't have time to wait. Some things need to be executed immediately because that could be the difference in you getting a 4-figure client, 5-figure client, or even a 6-figure client or contract. And so that's why we don't have time to waste. So yeah, no, you gave me more stuff to tweak and I already know my developer, my IT person, he's gonna be like, didn't we just tweak something like 4 weeks ago? Yeah, here goes something else. So
And you can actually take kind of this conversation from today and put it in ChatGPT, right? And say, hey, this is the conversation that was had. These are the things that was said that should be done. And this is what I got on there right now. Like, help me transform this based on the conversation that I had today. You're not in it by yourself. To me, this is what AI is for. AI is for you to fill that gap of where you are and where you want to go. So, yeah,
no, you
I
already know I'm on it. I said I got about 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 tabs, and I'm trying to
yeah, yeah.
look the quickest way to resolve so that it's at less shift as possible and making it an easy lift for the team.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
no problem. And because you're in studio, you will be the only one that has the show notes that has this breakdown um on it. But I want to go back through the breakdown because at the end of the day, we need our website to convert into buying clients, right? We don't just want to pique their interest. We don't just want to educate them. A lot of us will educate them. I will educate you to death, right? But we want it to convert into a sale. So going back to our formulas of going to transformation. Your homepage should take them from introduction to immediate buyer. And you do this by answering within seconds on that above the scroll, all of this. Who is it for? What problem is solved? What transformation is offered? Why this business is different? Your unique selling propositions, right? And what action to take next. This is something I don't want y'all to forget. Do not overload these people with information, even if it's the right information, and don't have these calls to action every so often as they go down your page. Do not make them wait to the bottom of the page for them to have a call. It's okay to have a button in every section. Okay. And if you feel like you're tired, you don't want to have a big button in every section, hey, have a big button and a small button, have a big button and then a word like here that's hyperlink. Like you can put variety in there so it doesn't seem like you just putting this huge button in every section. Every section doesn't have to have a huge button. So do that. Okay. So that's your about page. I'm sorry, that's your home page. Your about page, you want to go from just it being about you and your story to creating trust and getting in through that buying journey process. So your story should strategically reinforce your credibility, your relatability, your authority, your emotional alignment with them. Don't forget, people buy because of emotions. Values alignment, again, mission, vision, belief system, and your leadership stability. Like, how did you get where you are? Like, reinforce that you are qualified, right? Next up is your expert page. This is where you show your authority. So your about page may show, what college you went to, if that is relevant, what certifications you have and all of that. But the expert page is showing how you use those things. Okay, that's the difference in the expertise and authority. And so here is where you're going to share your frameworks, your philosophies, your media appearances, your speaking engagement, articles, both written by you and about you, case studies, industry opinions, and your signature language. Y'all know I love you renaming things so that you can be clear about what it means. An example of that is I don't say human resources when I'm talking about building team and hiring. I don't say human resources. A lot of y'all get lost in the word human resources and you forget it's a people thing. So I say people sources, okay? People resources. I want you to remember these are people that you are using as a resource for your business. So because I changed it, you are very clear in the meaning of what I meant. So I ain't coming up with nothing unique where you don't know what I mean, but I am using signature language. I'm changing the words to be more clear. All right. The next level for your service page is going from just describing the service and giving details to helping them to make a buying decision. And you do this by answering the questions: will this work for me? What happens next? Is this organized for what I need? Is it worth the investment? What if I fail? This is where your guarantees come into place. Can I trust this process? Will this waste my time? And am I the right fit for it? Okay, so that is your detailed understanding of what each page, each of these main pages of your website, what it should be doing. Let me take a moment to also tell you that at the end of the day, your website should be easy to navigate. Okay. We have pages that appear on the menu, and we have sub pages that, as they're going down our main pages, they click into other pages. All of your pages don't have to be on the navigation bar in the menu. Okay. Keep it simple. Keep it to where it's these simple main pages and maybe a book me button up there on your menu, but don't put a bunch of stuff up there, okay? Because at the end of the day, if you got 2 lines of stuff up there, you've already made that navigation bar do too much work, okay? They can get to that other stuff within the body of the other pages. So rethink all of those things you have in your menu, because again, too much stuff causes confusion. If you give me too much choice, I don't know where to go. I don't know what to pick. And most likely what I'm gonna do is pick to leave your website. So keep that in mind. All right. Cool beans. Well, this has been great. This has been the Make It Make Sense Live, which is an interactive business decision. Hey, y'all know we have business decisions to make all day, every day in our business. It never stops. So help us to make business decisions. It's a part of our free First Six Figures Business Mastermind community, which used to be on Facebook only, but now we've brought that to YouTube. So check the community tab. That positions Black and Brown female online service-based entrepreneurs to generate your first 6 figures by learning how to make the money that funds your lifestyle of freedom. Okay. This is a week-long discussion. Every day of the week, we go further with our discussion. So on Tuesdays, it's Talk About It Tuesday, and we put our discussion questions out there. Today on Wednesdays, we do our live discussion where you get value around the topic that those questions start a conversation about. Just had that today. But you need to stay tuned in the community because here on YouTube, tomorrow and every Thursday, we go into actual real life case studies that drive the value of the conversation home. We call this Her Biz Breakdown. Okay. And on Friday, I take you back to the basic information that we're going to the next level of, because I know everybody's not ready for the next level. And so I take you back to that conversation with the basics in it that started the conversation in the first place. So on Fridays, we dip into the vault of the morning show, old episodes, and I give you that. I give you the old blog post and I give you the exact old episodes that can take you into the basics of websites. All right. Well, find out more about me, your host, Shay Cannon, plus get a link to take you directly to that community tab, because I know a lot of you are like, what community tab? How do I find that? Go to the description below. There's a link for you. Even though it's right here on YouTube, it's going to take you to that specific tab, all right? If you haven't already, do me a favor and give us a thumbs up to like this episode. Make sure that you are subscribed to the channel. And don't forget that the value continues on tomorrow. So check out Her Biz Breakdown on tomorrow. And with that, I want you to stay with us all week long as we continue the conversation. All right. Stream is ended. All right.
All right.
Shawana.
That's the right link you left me.